what to do when you feel like giving up. Hi, my name's Liz, and I'm one half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy.
Hello, my name is Anna, and I'm the other half of Baba Business, the community membership for birth and baby business owners who want to turn their passion into profit.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, what to do when you feel like giving up? I mean,
Ooh. Yeah.
happens to us all. We all have those days.
Yeah, and I think, like, let's be totally honest that, we definitely have felt that way in the past, and I'm sure we're going to feel that way in the future. Like, we're all normal human beings, and some days can
Yeah.
feel really hard. Some days, some weeks, some months, some years in business it can feel really, really difficult. But it's how you deal with it that makes a difference.
Yeah, I think it's really normal, and I actually think it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's really healthy to look at your business, to question your business, to ask if it's the right thing for you, if it's the right, if the model that you're doing, like, are you just carrying on trying to do something that's not really working anymore? I think it's really important that you review your business at least annually, and really look at all of that and be like, is this even a business? Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not a business because it's not making any money. So the question, is my business working? Is it working for me? Is actually vital to being a business owner.
Yeah, and I think we really felt, both of us really felt, the biggest shift or change in the most difficult period for both of us was after the pandemic, when everybody started, like, normal life started to resume. So I don't know if you describe it the same way, but prior to that, like, I would say both our businesses were like on this kind of, it was just upwards, going upwards. And then we had like a big boom over, both of us had a big boom over the pandemic, which was amazing. And then after the pandemic, everything felt different. Like, marketing, like strategies you'd been doing, and this was a great lesson for both of us. I think that the marketing strategies that you'd been doing no longer worked in the same way. People had changed. Like, this massive experience, collective experience we'd all been through, had created a different way of buying and a different way of viewing life. And then since then, there's been the cost of living crisis, loads of political issues, and all of those things impact how people view their purchases, which impacts businesses, and then that can impact how you feel about your business as well. So I think for both of us, we had like quite a big wake-up call, like post pandemic, in terms of making sure that you are always refreshing and looking at your marketing strategies and how they're working and how effective they are. And also, like, just staying connected to your business, to your ideal clients, so you can move and shape that business into something that feels really good to you, so that you don't want to give it up.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think definitely for the online education space, that's probably the pattern. I think for parent businesses, it was very different. Everything shut down over the pandemic. And then I think because of all the things you were talking about, I think then it's been harder for businesses to get going and for people to get back into face to face. And then I think the cost of living crisis and the way people are spending money, like, people's priorities have changed and people's expenses has changed. So people are having to be more discerning with how they spend money. And also the other thing that happened, and this is a good thing, it's not necessarily always a good thing, but it can be a good thing, not just a bad thing, but more and more people decided, actually, I really want to go into this world, the birth world, I want to train this stuff, it's more important to me. I want to do that. I don't want to keep working for a 9 to 5. So that meant there's more of us, so there's more competition, and I think that's actually quite a good thing. I think, like, you know, one of the areas where I support a lot of people is Surrey, which is south of London, and it's got a huge population of parents. And it's also got a lot of birth workers, but a lot of them do very, very well because there's such a
Yeah.
culture of doing classes and doing. So I don't want you to think, oh, just because there's been a big boom in people being out there, it makes it, you know, impossible to do this work. It doesn't. It's just that it's just about understanding that people's psychology of buying has changed and will continue changing, you know, and if anything, I think it's changing more rapidly than ever. So we
Oh,
have to keep our finger on the pulse, and keep an eye on that. So that's about the reviewing side of it. And just to say that having days where you feel like giving up on your business is totally normal. And I
yeah.
think the thing is,
When I was at the baby show the other week, we talked about this in another episode. That was something that I heard from different stall owners, different businesses, again and again. Was it's not like last year or the year before or the year before that. People are not parting with their money as easily. Like, they have to be really sure. And so I think that's really interesting as well, when you would repeatedly do something. Again, it's like repeatedly doing something, expecting the same result and getting something different. Like, you have to be able to move and shift with the times. Sorry, I interrupted you there. I just wanted to give that
no,
example.
it's fine. I think it's a really good insight, because that's the people that our listeners are
Yeah,
supporting. For me, how it looks is my clients need a lot more nurturing, and they need to
yeah,
know me a lot more to get that sureness. So what it means is, where before I might have just got a click online, now they want to know a bit more. They want to ask some more questions. They're going to probably compare me more to other services and
yeah.
really weigh it up before just doing that sort of impulsive buy. And that's
Mhm.
definitely true of parents. So that's where, as business owners, it comes into our messaging and really understanding our business and what it is we offer. And I know that sounds really stupid. Of course, I know what I offer and why I offer it, but we can be so bad at communicating that in a
Yeah.
way that our ideal client understands. It can be really tricky, actually, creating the messaging for your business, unless you're someone who's naturally really good at it. Most of us tie ourselves up in knots quite a lot, and get a bit, get ourselves in a bit of a, I don't know, we think about it from what we offer and what we learn, what we know. So it's really important to work, and this isn't what this podcast episode's about, but it's really important to get you. There's things that we perhaps didn't have to work at a few years ago that
Yeah.
now we do, and like getting your messaging right, working on your sales conversations, whether that's in, on a phone call, or whether it's in the DMs. All of those things need a bit of extra work. But I suppose what I really want to talk about today was, what do you do? Like, because you can get stuck, and I see other businesses stuck in this place for a long time. Like, what do you do when you just don't know what to do? You just feel like it's all too much, but at the same time, you don't want to give up on your dream and your passion. But at the same time, you need money to pay the bills. And how do you actually make that decision, whether it's, whether you should
Mm.
keep going with your business, whether you should do your business differently, whether you should do a different business, or whether it's time to just, like, go
Yeah.
back to whatever you were doing before. Like, it's just a really challenging and horrible thing to go through, even though all of us feel like it at one point or another, don't
Yeah.
we?
It's so difficult because our businesses are like part of who we are. They're so important to us. And in a way, they sort of define like who we are and how we want our lives to be, because, they're purposeful businesses. They're not, they're things that we're so passionate about, the people that we serve and the work that we do. So it's very difficult when you feel like your business isn't showing up for your family in the way that you want it to, in
Mm.
terms of like time and money and flexibility and all of those sorts of things. It can be really, really challenging. So, and we've definitely been through that and will go through that again. And so I think for me that one of the most important things has probably been like our friendship, being biz besties. Not just you. I know we do have extramarital friendships outside of us, and they are people that we lean on, that we support,
Yeah.
and they support us. And it's times like when you feel like giving up is when you need to be dropping that mini podcast episode on WhatsApp to your biz bestie to say, this is a really difficult day, week, month, year, whatever. I'm like, literally, shall I just jack it in? Because no doubt that person on the other end, if they're, you know, if they're in the same sort of world as you, or they have a business, they're going to be able to empathize, share
Yeah.
something with you that's going to help you not feel like so alone. And all you need is a bit of hope and some support. And I think that that's the start to rebuilding your confidence with your business again.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think reaching out, I think another thing is to just, the thing is, what we need to do is we need to tune into our instincts about what's right or wrong. Because the thing is, money doesn't flow and we don't make sales when we're in a place of, you know, scarcity, in a place of lack, when we're feeling really rubbish about ourselves, when we,
Yeah,
you know, when we feel everything's like contracted and tight and not good. Like we really, we can be busy in that state. We can be
yeah,
like, we can get things done, but we're not necessarily going to be like energetically and open to and attracting people in. So I think one of the key things is you need to work on your nervous system so that you can then get to a place where you can get intuitive about this, because you can, you know, you can be really practical, and you should. You
yeah,
can look at the pros, the cons of the different options. You can look at, this is how much I have to bring in for our family. This is the minimum. This is the maximum. You know, this is how many days I can really work on my business. You know, could I get more help somewhere else? You know, could the kids have more childcare, or is there a, you know, you could, of course you need to look at all the practical side of things, absolutely. But I think to really make a good decision and to make the right decision, you have to be able to tune into your instincts, and to be able to do that, you've got to kind of get your nervous system under control, and you've got to, you know. And so I would always say that, yes, chat to somebody, but you also have to feel it in your body, and you have to
mm,
kind of believe in it yourself, or you have to kind of come from that place of inner knowing, and that place has to come from not a place of panic,
mm-hmm,
stress, fear, all that stuff that we,
yeah.
you know, experience when things are tough.
We say it all the time, the missing piece to your business is you, and the likelihood is that you don't take good enough care of yourself. And it
Yeah.
shouldn't be something that we do when times are hard or we're thinking about giving
Mm-mm.
up. It shouldn't be, you know, when we've got time. It should be prioritized every day. Even little things make a big difference. You know, listening to affirmations while you're making a cup of tea in the morning and repeating them out loud, or, you know, writing down a gratitude list every night of like
Yeah.
3 to 5 things. All these little things, they don't take up a lot of time, but we put them to the bottom of the list all the time. And we'd prefer, when, you know, when we've got a minute, to just look at our phones or something like that.
Yeah.
That's going to numb us, but it's not going to help us feel better or differently when we come off the phone. It's probably going to make us feel worse. We just, yeah, we often don't do the things that we need to do, and they make a huge difference. I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to bring your mind and your body to a place of safety.
Yeah,
Like, some of my favorite affirmations in a time of this is to remind yourself that safety doesn't come from money. Like, we've created this society that
yeah,
leads us to believe that money is what keeps us safe. Like, money measures everything in our society, and it's something that really, really bothers me. And it's something that is so, we're so conditioned to it, because it's what we're conditioned to it from school.
yeah,
Like, you know, you have to work hard and get good grades so you can get a good job, so that you can have, you know, buy a house, go to university, buy a house, have it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like this
yeah,
constant, like
cool.
right from that young age. Like, I think about even some of my friends in Kent, we have a grammar school system. And I remember when the kids were going to school at 4, some of my friends, they sent their kids to private school. Nothing wrong with private school. My kids are in private school, so there's no shade on it. But the reason they sent their kids to private school is because the school that they got, they didn't believe that that school was going to get their kids at 4 into grammar school. So therefore they decided to pay private school fees. Like, great. If you can afford for your child to go private school, absolutely do it. But like the scarcity
Yeah.
at that age of 3, some of
Yeah.
them are 3. It's crazy. Like, and that's what we're brought up with, that mindset of like,
Mm,
you've got to be the best, you've got to be successful, you've got to get grades, otherwise, and it's actually nonsense. It's
yeah.
all nonsense. Like, safety comes from, of course, having a house
A
helps
place
keep
to
us
live.
safe, like being able to drive around in a car, having food to eat, all of those things, require money, and they help keep us safe. But actually, what creates the feeling of safety really is ourselves, our brains, and where our bodies are at. And
Mm,
so for me, like, a really helpful affirmation is to remind myself that safety doesn't come from the money that I earn. I don't need to live in a 4-bedroom house to feel safe. I would actually probably feel just as safe living in a yurt or a caravan. If that's what it came to, I would still be safe. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So I think it's just, sometimes it's kind of asking ourselves that question, like, why is it, do I feel insecure, why do I feel safe? Is this around the messages around what success is in our
Yeah.
society? Is it around the messages from my parents who pushed me into a certain career, or told me to be a certain way, or that I had to, like, more men, I think, have this than we do, that provider role, that you've got this responsibility. And
Mm,
I think really check in with your beliefs around money, success, what failure means to you,
mm,
all of that stuff, because the more you're able to sort of look at that and dig down into it and look at where some of your beliefs and feelings come from, the more chance you have got of changing your mindset, changing your energy around it, and then ultimately doing things differently and feeling differently in your business.
yeah, absolutely. And I think, that you mentioned talking about safety, and I really think that the idea of failing really makes people feel so uncomfortable and scared and frightened, and that they actually would rather give up their business or not try, not try new things in their business because of the idea of failing. And I
Yeah,
remember started Baba, I remember saying to you, we were writing some copy or something, and I put the word fail in, and then I was like, oh no, we can't say that, that'll trigger people. And you were like, so what? Failing is good. Like, let's rewrite how people feel about failing. And I
yeah,
really, since then, I've really thought, absolutely, because actually failing at something is how we become better. And, that's the
yeah,
message. Talking about kids and society, that's the message we want to give our kids as well. It's okay to fail, it's okay to mess up. It's how we learn, it's how we become better people, better skilled. Like, it's okay to f up, and it's okay to fail. And I think when you take that, like, the fear out of that, and you ground yourself, and you get that sense of safety, and you take care of yourself, then
yeah.
you're much more able to deal with the ups and downs and the challenges of your business.
Yeah, and not only that, you are connected with your inner knowing.
Yeah.
You'll know if you're able to get to that place, then you'll know if it's the right thing to carry on with your business. You'll know if it's the right
Mm-hmm.
thing to do it differently or to put out. Whether you take action on that is another thing,
Yeah.
but the knowing will be there. But you kind of got to scramble through all the bullshit stuff that goes on in our brains first to
Mm-hmm.
kind of reach it. And then so I think that is, I think that's so key. So other than journaling, and sort of writing out and coming aware of it, and once you know what those beliefs are, this is all stuff that most of us actually already do with our clients, it's just relaying, putting it into our own lives. It's then using things like the affirmations, like you said, but like not just writing them out, but like really using them, like saying them, feeling them, really, utilizing them properly.
Mm-hmm.
um and then, yeah, all the other things that help feel safe, grounding exercises, the stuff that you love to do, like going for walks,
Mm-hmm.
yoga, all that stuff. It's so good for tuning into your inner knowing and calming your nervous system.
Definitely do it, people. And you know what I think will really help everybody? I think we'll drop a link in the show notes to the Baba Rituals, which is
Yeah,
one of our freebies, which will really help you to create some rituals that will, really benefit you, your business, will benefit those, help you in those days when you feel
yeah,
like you don't know if you want to give up, or you do want to give up, or what, just create those rituals and really use them in your business.
Yeah, and of course, the membership is always there and open to anybody who would like a place to come and talk through their doubts and talk through, what it's like to be a birth and baby business owner and how to make decisions. And, we absolutely love supporting people. We do it through our coaching sessions. We've got our coaching coming up very soon, and we do it through our on the Kickstart, we help people look at their business and review where they're at. Reviewing is such an important part of the process.
Yeah.
And then, we just have that community where it's a safe place to ask questions and be honest about how you're feeling. And then there'll be a whole bunch of people there ready to sort of, help you out and they understand, because as we said at the beginning, we've all felt like this at times in our business, and we've all got words of wisdom, and we're all good at helping others when they're down. So come and join us in the Baba community if you're not in there already. We'll put a link to that as well. We'd absolutely love to see you in there.
Yeah, definitely. And then one final shout out to everybody who loves our podcast. We get so many comments about how great it is. So if you love it and you appreciate us putting this content out, then please leave us a review, just some kind words on your podcast provider. We would really, really appreciate that.
We would. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.